In this video, let's take a real quick look at creating a block. In a previous video on blocks versus groups, we created a block from a group. So the group already had the objects included, and those are the objects that got sent out to the block. In this case, let's just, inside any drawing we're working on, let's just create a new, I'm going to create a point symbol that I want to use. And I'm going to start simply by telling Traverse PC I want to draw some objects here. So let's go ahead and draw a quick, choose a rectangle here of some kind. It really doesn't matter how big I draw them. Now these are going to be red. I could change the color and do a different color. That would be fine. And I'm just going to zoom in on this real quick so you can see. And let's throw some kind of a polyline in on that just to get some kind of shape that we want. And call it good, and then let's go ahead and edit that polyline. Let's close it, and let's fill it with something, I don't care. Okay, so this is the new symbol that we want to create a block for. So we do that through the tools. There's a create block command, and then we're just going to follow through the prompts here at the bottom. So it says left click object to select, unselect, previous window cross. Well, I kind of like to use the window or cross one. So I'm going to press W. I'm going to just window around these objects. So I have all the objects that I want, and they're identified because they turn gray. And then the prompt says right click to end selection. Now I get the next prompt. Next prompt says left click the base point. So I could snap to the midpoint or insert point of this. I'm just going to kind of pick basically here the center of this. That would be fine. And as soon as I do that, Traverse PC now has all the information it needs to go ahead and say, okay, I've got my block ready to go. Let's just save it now and I do that through the block reference dialog. So I'm going to save it as a block file. So I'm going to browse. This is a point symbol. And I'm going to say this is for a fire pit. I don't think I have one of those yet. Okay, let's just call it fire pit as the block name. I'm going to leave everything else just the same. If I want it to be a certain height, when I bring it in, I can do that. If I want it to be scaled based on the drawing scale, I can do that. I'm going to say I want this to be a certain height, and I generally want it to be 2/10 of an inch high. So let's do that. So now I have a block. Okay, and if I put the cursor over this block, it tells me I've got a block reference. I can right-click, go to Properties. Here again is my fire pit file, the fire pit name, the height of the block, because that's what I specified. And I can reuse that any number of times. So now I can go to my Insert Blocks, and I can go into Point Symbols. I can go down to Fire Pit. Okay. And then hit the repeat command and put that block in however many times I want. And I've got a new block to use inside a Traverse PC. If I wanted to, I could go into the point symbols through the Traverse drawing settings, and I could browse to that one here in the symbols. So I'm going to browse, go into point symbols, down to fire pit. And I now have a fire pit I can use if I happen to identify any points in the survey that are a fire pit. Kind of cool.